The Georgia Science Teachers Association and Georgia Science Supervisors Association are speaking up for science, and so can you.
GSTA, in partnership with GSSA, are working to provide a foundation for enhanced student learning with standards revisions developed by and for science teachers. The new standards revisions were prompted by the idea that we need to update our expectations for students based on our most current understanding of what's going on in science and also what we understand about how students best learn in science. And so we want to reflect those updated ideas in our standards for our students and teachers.
The goal is to really stay current on the latest research in science education and to work with teachers and other members to really make sure that the students in our classrooms are engaged in science to their full abilities.
We had a really great response to the teacher survey. We had, over 9,300 teachers who responded.
Completing that survey helped my voice be heard, and then being on the revision committee helped me be part of the solution, part of the change.
Looking at the standards was just a great review. The survey was a great review of where I was as a teacher and where I felt like my class could grow.
I'm very excited in where we're going in the state of Georgia, because it will allow us now to have a shift in science and the practices that we see in our classrooms.
There were several committees that were formed to work on the revision of the science standards.
Working and advisory committees that included teachers, science education leaders, and higher education faculty worked together to develop the standards revisions and underwent academic review with parents, business representatives, DOE leadership, and the University System of Georgia.
A foundation was created for enhanced student learning that incorporates 4 features for GPS standard revisions: clarifying the learning expectations for students at each grade level and providing more meaningful guidance for teachers' work in the classroom; integrating the science and engineering practices and cross-cutting concepts within the content standards to support 3-dimensional learning as called for in a framework for K-12 science education; increasing rigor by focusing on students' ability to apply science concepts to explain phenomena and solve problems; and making solid connections to STEM and literacy to support student learning across disciplines and to prepare students for the 21st century workplace.
76% of all the newly created jobs in the U.S. will require workers who have proficiency in STEM. Moving students towards that goal of not just memorizing facts, but learning how to apply those facts and how to think like a scientist, even if they themselves are not going to pursue careers in science.
Bringing nature and science into the classroom is always very important to make science really come to life for our students and let them be more involved in their learning.
Our students don't need to just hear about science, and they don't need to just read about science, but they need to do science. And they're just so naturally curious, and they're the best scientists. Through this new framework, students will be able to ask questions and define problems, develop and use models, plan and carry out investigations, analyze and interpret data, use mathematics and computational thinking, construct explanations and design solutions, engage in argument from evidence, obtain, evaluate, and communicate information.
Just because they have the knowledge, that doesn't mean that they have the understanding as to how this can be applied to real life, and real life is what we're really after.
The public review and comment period is happening now. This is where teachers can truly speak up for science. It is critical that teachers participate in the public comment period and reflect this in your comments. We need you to be specific on which aspects you feel strongly about, such as the integration of practices or adjustments to content of the standards and how those will benefit your students in the classroom.
If the science teachers in the state of Georgia don't take this opportunity to make their voice heard, there'll be a feeling among the general public that science is, as they learned it, kind of a fixed topic rather than a burgeoning and growing one.
That was one of the most rewarding parts of being able to respond to a survey or being part of the revision process, is that I knew that what I was doing was going to be important for many years to come with our students.
You can participate by visiting the Georgia Science Teachers Association website to learn about the standards revision and the 3D science instruction, reading a framework for K-12 science education, checking your e-observations monthly for updates and professional information, and by sharing in the public comment period what you like about the revisions, your comments, and suggestions. We welcome you to volunteer through your district for DOE resource development and take advantage of the professional learning opportunities while supporting a transition that will ultimately lead to more effective teaching and learning in Georgia science. Join us in speaking up for science.